All right, everyone, how you doing? We have came to talk to these two talented women who have came together to give you the ultimate surprise show. We're going to start off with a brief introduction from each one of these ladies. So, Miss Angela Gibbs, can you go ahead and just tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right, so hi, glad to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm excited about what we've got brewing. So Angela Gibbs, and I've been in this business for over 4 decades. No, I'm not telling you my age. You'll have to guess. But I've been in this business 4 decades as a actor. Started in this business as an actor, then moved into theater producing, and then eventually moved into coaching actors and also directing now. I been in shows like Scandal and NCIS and Bosch and The Fosters and Shameless, TV shows such as that. I played Ice Cube's mom in Straight Outta Compton, Regina Hall's mother in Think Like a Man 1 and 2. So I've had a lot of fun in front of the camera. I've done some coaching behind the camera for Alejandro Inarritu, which we did Birdman together, and then we did The Revenant together, and fortunately won some Oscars on those. I also coached the young man who played Tupac in All Eyes on Me, and the young man who played White Boy Rick in White Boy Rick. So now I am also directing, and also directing my mother's documentary. So I've been blessed to work in a myriad of positions, and I think each thing has made me better at what I do.
Well, we are definitely glad and blessed to have you here today, so thank you for that. And then, Andrew Christine, go ahead and give us a little introduction of who you are.
Okay, well, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I actually was a police officer that quit after 9/11, moved to Virginia for a couple of years, decided to go back into dramatic arts, and that's what I majored in high school. I had wrote some plays and stories, what have you, in high school, and I decided to turn them into novels. So in 2009, my first book, The Fireman, came out. I actually have 4 books out now that's published. I have my own magazine company called Grinders 24/7 that came out last year. 3 years ago, I created the Ultimate Surprise Show, but before it was called the Random Kindness Show. Changed it last year, and I'm basically trying to have goodness back in television, because nowadays a lot of people don't want to watch TV because of all the stuff that's going on. Presidency, everything with the fires in California. It's depressing watching TV nowadays. So we need some goodness back in. So this is why I came up with the Ultimate Surprise Show. We want to have like the ultimate random kindness acts that anybody can think of if they want to surprise someone. And yeah, that's basically it.
Well, we definitely agree with you, and we are thankful and blessed to have you here as well. So, Angela, please tell us how you felt when Angie C first approached you about being her co-host on the Ultimate Surprise Show. Well, what were your thoughts?
Well, I have to say, not to sound trite, but I was touched, and because when someone is thinking of a show that has this kind of theme, and they think the only person they really want to sit with them on the show was myself, I'm doing something right.
All right.
And that made me feel like when she thinks of me, when she thinks of kindness, then I'm in the right lane and I want to be part of it. And everything that Angela mentioned earlier in terms of what's happening in the world, the energy that's we're walking around with because of the news, the presidency, even our own personal trials and tribulations, we need some kindness. And if I can be part of that, I think that I'm serving my real purpose here on earth.
All right, definitely, we agree as well. Now, Angie C, when did you decide to have Angela Gibbs as your co-host?
Actually, it was the beginning of 2017. Yeah. I was thinking about her, I think right after I saw the Tupac movie, All Eyes on Me. I saw it like about 8 times. I was going every week, paying the same amount of money to see the same. I mean, I was basically sitting in the audience, word for word, doing the whole movie. And when I found out that, Miss Gibbs was the one that was the acting coach for the guy, Demetrius Shipp, I was just, I was amazed. I was like, oh my God, it made it even more
Right.
great to reach out to her.
Right.
We were friends on Instagram and Facebook, and a couple of times she had liked some of my stuff, and I was like, oh my God, I was all excited and everything. And then I swear to you, when God talks to me, I listen. God talked to me when I was actually sleeping, and he said, you need a co-host. And I was like, who? In the dream, and he said Angela Gibbs, and I was like, wow.
Wow.
And so when God gives me messages like that, I'm gonna listen, because that's, without him, I wouldn't be here.
Definitely. Definitely.
So I wasn't messing with that.
Of course. All right. Well, Angela, there's been a couple of shows, local news, different, programs that maybe have done random kindness acts. My question for you guys, or especially for you, what do you feel that this show will make this show shine a little bit brighter than the other shows in the past?
Well, let me say this. With Oprah now being gone, because Oprah, of course, really set the bar high, and she did some of that.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Ellen and other shows, but Oprah really paved that way,
Mm-hmm.
right? Let's do some things that are really going to get into the psyche of women and men so they can have a shift.
Mm-hmm.
And now that she's gone, I think there's a big gap.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you have these other shows out there, there's a big gap. And I think that we're stepping in and we're continuing where that legacy left off. And we're digging deep.
Mm-hmm.
Our specific thing is not necessarily the personal psyche and pathos of other people's pain, etc., as opposed to really what is happening in the world where people are not being recognized for the acts of kindness, the random acts of kindness that are happening in the world. I think Oprah did some of that, but that wasn't the specific theme of the show. And I'm a big crybaby when I see someone who doesn't know someone else but show up or rush up to help an older woman across the street, or let me get that for you, or I'll stand here with you. Those things make me tear up, and those things go unnoticed, but those are blessings.
Definitely.
And I think that it's time for us to shine a light on that, to give us all hope.
Definitely. All right, and Angie C, specifically, can you just give us an example of exactly what type of stories that you and Angela Gibbs will be sharing with the world?
Wow, well, these stories, I have actually 20 stories came across the United States. Different people wrote into me. One particular one, and I'm going to say once our show airs, because it is going to,
Yes,
by
it
the grace
will.
of God, it's going to happen. So the one story that I'm going to use is, it was I don't want to say their names, but let's just say Mary. Mary worked as a nurse, and she would help this guy, Joe, for dialysis. He had kidney failure, and it's kind of it's touched on. I don't want to start crying, but they became close friends. He was dying, and he needed a kidney transplant. None of his family members were matches, and so happens, this nurse, Mary, was a perfect match. So she wound up giving her kidney to him.
Wow.
And so, from that on, it was like he's healthy now, they're dating. And he basically, they're going to come on the show. She thinks they're coming on the show to talk about what she did, which of course we are. And then it's going to flip it around. He wants to propose to her.
Oh.
Yes. So then, of course, she's going to say yes. If she say no, it's going to be, it's going to be terrible. But I do believe she's going to say yes.
Pray that.
So when she says yes, he wants to actually get married on the show. So how we're going to do it is, once she, we just basically, she's going to tell her story. So once she tells her story, what she did, and then, Angela and I, we're going to look and, Angela, like, be the one to say, girl, that's not why we have you here. And, she's going to be like, what do you mean? Then afterwards, she's going to be
We got a
like,
surprise for you. We have an ultimate surprise
Yes.
for you.
and then we're going to back up, light's going to be dimmed, So now little music come on, so now he's talking to her, he proposes. So the next part is she's gonna be like, well, I gotta save money for this wedding, And he'd be like, no, you don't, because we're gonna give you the wedding right here, the ultimate surprise. Down to the dress designer she likes, her shoe size and everything, makeup artist, everybody's gonna be in the back. She's gonna be crying now, oh, my family. Well, we have them on Skype here.
Wow.
So we're gonna have her family and his family on Skype, and then we're gonna play it off like the reception's gonna start messing up, like, shh. So she's like, what's going on? I'm like, man, I wish, you know what, come on out. So we're gonna pull her out, and then she's gonna be like screaming. So that, I'm excited to film that. So those are the type of stories that we're gonna have. I mean, touching stories, like I said, the Kleenex, tissue. In the studio, we're gonna have a box of Kleenex on everybody's chair when they come in, because they're gonna be like, what is this for? I didn't ask for tissue. No, you're gonna need it, because these stories are gonna be heartwarming, touching stories. It's gonna make you cry.
Oh, wow, that definitely would be the ultimate surprise.
Here's a joy.
Yes.
That's right.
All right. And then Angela Gibbs, let me ask you, what type of audience do you believe that your show would specifically or most likely target?
I think off top, baby boomers, without a doubt.
Okay.
We are looking for that kind of thing. We grew up with TV that was hopeful. We saw it go in a different direction. In terms of images, we didn't see ourselves, but we saw more homogenized kind of television. We saw it get more real. Now we're inundated with news and all the travesties that are happening in the world. But I'm hoping also that the millennials will also watch, because we're going to also be choosing young people who are going through these kinds of issues and challenges and overcoming them because of random acts of kindness. And I'm hoping that we can blend the two demographics, the millennials as well. There needs to be a bridge between the baby boomers, which I'm one of, and the millennials. So I'm hoping that that's what my hope is, that our target demographics are both.
Definitely. Okay. All right. And Angie C., what extra spice do you believe that you and Angela Gibbs would bring to the show that would help increase the ratings?
Well, basically, I mean, she's a beautiful woman. I mean, she's extremely, look guys, she's extremely beautiful.
And available, no, please. All right, I didn't say that. Go back again, start again.
We have two beautiful queens,
That's
that is doing something positive, and I know a lot of you guys are going to want to tune in just to see the faces, the glamour, the faces. And, like I said, it's all about the stories. It's all about the stories that we're going to bring. These are going to be heartwarming stories, I mean.
And can I
Yes,
jump
jump
in?
in.
I know that was your
Jump
question.
in.
You said spice.
Yes.
Both of Angela's have been through things in life. We've overcome challenges ourselves. So we're going to keep it real. This is not going to be a homogenized, shallow or superficial show at all.
Right.
We're going to go deep.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do our research. And Angela's obviously a person that does research, as am I. And so we're going to find stories that we think really are going to show a diversity that is inclusive, that looks like the world that's watching. We're sensitive to that. We're sensitive to women's stories. And then, we're sisters. So we're going to bring some spice. And if we don't believe something or we want to challenge something, we're going to be like, really? Okay, you're going to come up to the other. We're going to bring out, I think, the trust that people need to have when they're on the show, where they can get real with us, because we're going to be real with them.
All right. Well, we would like to thank both of you, but before we go, just let me say, we know that you are both very talented, and so we smell nothing but success all over this show.
All right.
Just because that's all we've seen from the both of you. Angie C., with our many books in Barnes & Noble, congratulations on your magazine.
Yes.
And then Angela Gibbs, of course, we can go on and on with your appearances from TV to movie, like you said, over the past few decades. But before we let you both out of here, just freely, Angie C., any last words that you might want to, share with us, and specifically about, the show and things that you want us to know about it?
I am praying and I know it's gonna happen 2019. Everybody's told me 2019 is my year. 3 years I've been already, well, 3.5 years in, the making of the show. We're gonna, like I said, I want to bring the family back to the dinner table. I want to have people at the water cooler talking about it, at the printing machine, wherever, on the bus, waiting at the bus stop, in the doctor's office. This is going to be a show like no other show that's out there. And I want to thank God for, keeping me alive and also, keeping them great ideas flowing into my brain. And most importantly, I want to thank you, Angela Gibbs, and I'm going to try not to get emotional because I'm very emotional, that you basically right now are giving me the chance to show you what I'm made of, and I know the show, we will be a great success together, the 2 days.
2 days, I like that.
All right.
Let's toast to that with our A's.
No liquor.
That's right.
Well, we thank you both. We look forward to watching you both on the Ultimate Surprise Show. Any closing words, Miss Angela?
I just want to say that I am honored and I'm excited. I'm delighted. I'm also thankful because I know it's going to happen. And my prayer is that this show is not only a success, but it permeates into the world of the viewers, and that they begin to look and to also give random acts of kindness.
Oh, well, definitely. Let's let these last 3 years of development pay off in the Ultimate Surprise Show. We thank you both. You have a great rest of your day.
Bye.